was there in Medina, I had met up with Sheikh Tawfiq Chaudhry, Dr. Sheikh Tawfiq Chaudhry, and he's from Australia. So he was studying at the time. When he returned back to Australia, he started this Al-Kauthar Institute. And it's around the same time that Sheikh Mohammed Al-Sharif started Al-Maghrib Institute in the US. So Al-Maghrib Institute started off in the US, and Sheikh Tawfiq started Al-Kauthar Institute in Australia. But at that time, Al-Maghrib was only US based. They didn't go and move beyond US. Whereas Sheikh Tawfiq, he started in Australia and then moved to India and Pakistan and Qatar and Sri Lanka and all of these places. Well, alhamdulillah. So he eventually started it here in South Africa while I was still in Medina. And so when I returned back to South Africa, then I was teaching here locally with an organization, Ilm SA, for about maybe 9. And then, well, alhamdulillah, he made me an offer, and I started to work with the Al-Kauthar Institute. So Al-Kauthar Institute offers, teaches these tertiary level Islamic courses. It's not like an institute like a Darul Uloom where you go there and you're going to sit and have classes every day. No. Rather, it's focused on professionals, those who are working. It's 2-day courses, Saturday and Sunday, a maximum of plus minus 4 to 5 courses a year. Jayed. So in January, you've got a Saturday and Sunday course. Then maybe in March, another 2-day course. Then maybe in July, another 2-day course. Maybe in October, another. So 4 to 5 courses a year. Every course, there's a different international instructor. So for example, a course in London. So maybe in January, it's myself who's teaching that 2-day course. Then in April, maybe it's Muslim Khan from Canada, and in July it's Sheikh Tawfiq Chaudhry. In December, it's one of the other instructors, Sheikh Dawood Butt, etc. Plus minus 15 different instructors, and they were servicing. I say were because now, obviously, due to the pandemic, all of this has come to a grinding halt. But before the pandemic, plus minus 15 to 20 instructors were servicing about 30 cities around the world. Right? 30 cities around the world. And so on average, maybe 2 weekends of the month, I would be traveling doing these Al-Kauthar courses. So there's the education. And what makes it different? That it's very fancy. It's like a fancy hotel. Brothers in front, sisters at the back. Somebody's clean shaven. He's not told, get out from here. A sister, she doesn't have a hijab. Nobody's going to tell her, please leave. Everybody's welcome. Brothers in front, sisters at the back. They're all allowed to ask questions. The teacher must be somebody who's charismatic, must be somebody who's dynamic. Courses are from 8:30 in the morning until 6-7 p.m. in the evening, Saturday and Sunday. They're there for the full day. They're paying for the course. And so you need to hold their attention, plus minus 48 different courses. So I was teaching mostly the fiqh courses and the history courses. The history of Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu ta'ala, best of the best. The history of Uthman, Ali and Hassan, called the rightly guided. The history of the Umayyad dynasty, the first kingdom, etc. So fancy names, very fancy YouTube videos, etc. It was very, very upmarket, mashallah. The courses were very upmarket. Students had to pay. Yes, if there's a student who cannot afford, they were given a bursary, etc. But the entire institute was run based upon the student fees, alhamdulillah. And that was not the final aim and objective behind Al-Kauthar. Al-Kauthar, yes, was ta'aleem, was ilm, was knowledge. But there was the aim and objective behind it, which was not necessarily mentioned clearly to the students, and that was Mercy Mission incubating projects. So via Al-Kauthar Institute, example, if yourself, Sheikh, you went to maybe India, and you saw that one of the issues that they have there is that you find many Hindu reverts, female Hindu revert. She becomes a Muslim. She says, I don't know what to do now. I'm with my Hindu family. You can become anything in the world, but don't become a Muslim, especially in today India. Allah musta'an, right? And so she says, I'm in my non-Muslim family here. A time of suhoor, I have a date under my pillow. I can't allow my brothers and sisters to know that I'm a Muslim. If my parents find out, it's the end of my life, etc., etc. Issues and problems. If you, Sheikh, went there and said to them, brothers, you got this problem. Maybe set up a halfway house for new reverts, so they can come there, they will be protected. Maybe then eventually they get married, they get a job, they can move off, etc. First question, natural response, they will say to you, Sheikh, where are you from? Trinidad, Tobago, West Indies. Jazakallah khair. Allah bless you, Allah reward you. You go back home. We know our situation here best. We will do what we feel is best, etc. Ahlu Makkah adra bishi'abiha. The people of Makkah, they know its valleys best. That's the reality. That's the natural reaction. Even though they need that institute, even though they are desperate for it, natural reaction would be such and such defensive reaction. But if you come with a fancy Al Kauthar Institute, it's at the Marriott Hotel, and people have to pay, and it's in the English language, and you have some fancy international sheikh for every course, etc. Now there's something, a bit of what's the right word, razzmatazz attached to it, wow, wow, wow kind of thing. And so you would attract a certain crowd to this type of course. Right? And so now, after one course, two course, three course, four courses, you know that your human resources in the class, you're building a relationship with them, and you always give them the subliminal messages that, mashallah, you are learning, etc. But what about the 20 million people not here? What about the 200 million people who are not here, the Muslims who are not here? What are you doing with regards to them? What projects are you coming up with to benefit them, not to benefit somebody in Timbuktu or to benefit somebody in South Africa? What are you coming up with here to benefit the Muslims in this city, in this country? And so now you build a relationship. That guy's father owns Delhi Darbar. That one is an accountant. That one's into IT. Now you got a relationship with them. You put them together and you say, brothers, what do you guys need? You know what, we have reverts. Well, what about that idea? Yeah, why don't you guys set up like a halfway house? You already have their buy-in, you already have a relationship with you, and so mashallah, you now incubate projects. The vehicle to get in was the Al Kauthar Institute, but that was not the final aim and objective. Final aim and objective was not just those who learn, and if somebody attended for that intention, alhamdulillah, khairan baraka. But you were looking beyond just the ta'aleem. You were looking at incubating projects, and alhamdulillah, via Al Kauthar in the UK, Canada, Australia, National Zakah Foundation was incubated. Also in the UK, in Australia, there's Charity Right that was incubated. There were many others that came up. Ramadan TV in the UK. Some of them lasted, some of them eventually died out. And one of the projects in South Africa is currently the Imam Development Program. Alhamdulillah.
Oh, that is interesting. I like that.